Good morning. Welcome to Now You Know, and I appreciate Katie's introduction and history lesson here this morning. And I am here with Bill Swain this morning, and Bill is the owner of Dog Not Gone. And let me give you a little more, perhaps recent history than Katie's history. We're located on 40 Dane Avenue, and for the Skowheganites, who might better know this as Stewart Ave at one time, but is
right.
Due to the 911 renumbering and renaming of streets, this became Dane Avenue. And the business prior to yours was Dirigo Stitching, which was owned by Peter Schultz, who sold you this business, and Peter's business was here for, God, I think at least 30 or 40 years.
From the 70s, I believe.
From the 70s, yep. Absolutely. So anyways, we decided today to meet with Bill because we had heard about his unique business and the dog business and putting vests on dogs and so forth. But also, one of the things I'm particularly interested in too is all the clothing that you have made to prevent ticks from getting on people. Obviously, that's a big topic in Maine, New England, and probably even nationally.
It's getting worse.
Getting worse, being a big problem, and fortunately, Bill's business has got some excellent clothing that people can wear to help prevent ticks from getting on them. So, Bill, you want to talk a little bit? Give us a little bit of history of the business first.
Okay, so my wife and I started Dog Not Gone 10 or 12 years ago with our signature product, which was our safety dog vest. That it was just strictly for visibility during hunting season. We were fortunate to catch the eye of an LL Bean buyer very early, and they carried our products, and it did very well. So we've continue to grow from there. Then a few years ago, we were afforded the opportunity to make our products from a fabric that's treated with a permethrin treatment in a way that makes it permanent so that it doesn't wash off, and it repels ticks, mosquitoes, and black flies. So we immediately started making our dog vest from that fabric because dogs pick up ticks like crazy. So we thought that would be a great product. And then from there, the tick problem started to get worse and worse and affect more people. So we decided to create a line of outerwear items that for both you and your dog. And we make things from baseball caps, headbands. We make a vest. We have socks that are treated in the same way, and we keep adding a variety of products that, to find something that works for just about everyone. And the products work amazingly well. A lot of folks are skeptical because we're so ingrained to think that the only way you can repel bugs is with a harsh chemical. We spray ourselves down, we use oils or whatnot, but this way is just as effective, and it's considered virtually as safe as can be. It's a 0 on the EPA scale of 1 to 4, with 0 being the least harmful, 4 being the most harmful. And the CDC actually recommends pregnant women and children use this as opposed to a topical insect repellent. So we have, worked to find the products that work the best.
How do you embed this permethrin in all this clothing?
Well, that's the innovation that the fabric supplier came up with. Is you can go to a hardware store and buy a bottle of permethrin in solvent and spray your clothes with it. That will wash out and just evaporate off. What the fabric maker that we buy this fabric from did was create a way to permanently bind it to the fabric. So it's actually it goes through a heat treatment process that fuses it to every individual fiber of the fabric in a way that it can't come off.
Okay. Now, you've got a ton of different products. We're actually, and I believe Katie's got a question here.
Oh, I don't have a question. I just say that I am so glad that you have developed for Lyme's disease, because I've had it for 30 years.
It's a debilitating disease.
Nobody knew anything about it.
That's right.
So thank goodness that you're doing this.
Well, thank you. Our dog, we used to live in Bar Harbor, where the tick problem is especially bad, especially the deer ticks. And our dog was vaccinated for Lyme, and we used the topical ointments on the pesticides on the dog, and he still got Lyme.
Yeah.
And that was before we made our vest. And we still use some of the topical type of medicine, but not nearly as much. And we use it during the very peak season, but the rest of the warm months, we just keep a vest on him, and we very rarely see a tick on him at all.
Now, we're standing right now in the factory outlet store, and eventually we're going to get out of here. We're going to go around and give you kind of a tour of the plant, and you'll see some of the workers at work and everything and all the different products that they do. And it's really pretty amazing. Now, it kind of started out more with the dog vest, right? And
that was the original product. Yep, we started off, and that was our only product. And then some of our early wholesale customers, dealer accounts, said, well, we'd like to buy more things from you, so you need to make some more items. Yep. And that's when we started making leashes and collars, and we made dog walking vests for high visibility. All of our products at the time were made pretty much exclusively from high visibility and reflective products for safety. And so we just kept adding products and adding products and adding products, and now, we probably have 20 or 30 different products that we make here, and we're always coming up with new ones.
Now, the Dog Not Gone name, does it come from, the orange vest, and you're able to find your dog, he doesn't take off on you, kind of?
Exactly. Your dog's not gone because he's got this vest on, and you can see him a mile away. The original fabric that we made our products from was called 10-mile fabric, and that's because of its visibility at great distance.
Do you want to describe the vest that's on the dog?
Sure.
A little bit?
So our vest was designed to be worn by a hunting dog originally. Some very active bird hunters needed a product so they could see their dogs in thick brush, and it wouldn't bind on their legs and would hold up more than one day. Because there were some inferior products on the market before ours that didn't last very long in the brush. So we came up with this design where it's solid across the chest, and then it velcros underneath. This is our sport version. This is our lightweight summer version, and it has just a single layer of Velcro. Our signature product has 2 layers of Velcro and makes a Velcro sandwich that's virtually impossible for the dog to squirm out of.
So even if he's out in the woods and around all these trees and everything else, it's not going to get ripped off him.
No. The only time we've ever had a dog get out of our vest is if he has help from a friend.
Okay.
So if there are 2 dogs, then they might could get out of it. But that's literally about the only time that we've seen that happen. And like, we found it in the woods. And I said, did he have a friend with him? Well, yeah, he did.
I even saw that you had a horse vest, too.
We do. We make them for horses. We sell to a lot of kind of like stores, including Blue Seal stores. Yep. And some of the managers at a Blue Seal store asked us if we could make them, that they had a market for products for horse. So again, we used to make it strictly out of just orange high visibility fabric, and then we've switched it to the tick and insect repelling fabric, because as you know, horses standing out in the field get attacked by flies and things like that, and this helps keep them away.
Don't you even have one that has like a little packet thing on it?
We do. We have some here in the store. We don't carry it anymore. It got so labor intensive that it got too expensive. Okay. So we discontinued it, but we do have some that have a little pack on. Your dog can carry his own lunch if you want. And that's kind of the process. Is we make a product and we'll make some and we sell them, and if see how they do. The ones that don't sell in enough volume to make it worthwhile, then we discontinue them. But we just kind of keep experimenting to find the right recipe that's going to work. So
if somebody went to LL Bean, they'd find your products?
They would find our Dog Not Gone branded products. They would also find the tick and insect repelling vest in LL Bean that carries an LL Bean tag.
Is that in the fishing hunting section?
It is. Yeah. Yep, it's in the fishing and hunting store. So we actually, we make it for LL Bean. So it's in their tags are in it. It's in their packaging. It's made in the sizes that they get exclusively for them, and but we make it right here.
Would they have it on their website that you could order?
They do.
Okay.
They sure do.
Okay.
Yep.
Of course, you got your own website, right?
Right.
People can order products from, and I understand that free shipping, is that still true?
It is. Yeah. We always done free shipping, and our website is dognotgone.com. And we try and ship if we get the order by noon, we ship it that day. Otherwise, it ships the next business day. So it goes right out.
And where are you getting orders from?
All over the place. This week I filled 2 orders from Utah, one from Montana, and one from Florida.
Okay.
You know, in addition to our main ones. Most of our orders go to people in Maine, but we do see them from all over the country.
Oh, excellent. So do you do most of your business off the website or through LL Bean, or what's?
We are kind of split between our wholesale business and our retail online operations. We're growing our direct to customer operation now, and we're just kind of really putting some more focus in that. For a number of years, our primary focus was to wholesale it to dealers. And that's worked really well to get our products visible and get them out there. And now we're going to continue that, but we're also putting more and more emphasis online to attract more customers direct to us.
Do you have much walk-in business?
We do in the springtime. The spring and summer are our busy times. This time of year, the store here is pretty quiet, but in the springtime we were pretty busy in here.
Yeah.
So.
And we're located on Dane Avenue, which is just a little bit off in Jewett Street. North Elementary School is nearby, so we're kind of between Madison Avenue and North Avenue in Skowhegan, just so you all know where the factory is. And of course, a lot of people knew where Dirigo Stitching was, and that's where this business is. How many employees do you have?
We have 11 right now, and we've got a lot of business, a lot of work already booked for 2019, which is good. So we're probably going to be looking at bringing on a couple of more people here in the short order. In addition to Dog Not Gone products, we also make products for other people, and that's what is where we're seeing a big uptake.
Area.
Yep.
And speaking of that, why don't we get into we're standing right in the store right now, and maybe what we could do, if our John, our cameraman, is okay with it, we can kind of pivot around the store and you can point out some of your products and so forth.
Sure.
Yeah.
What about starting right behind you?
Yeah. How about right here?
Right. So this is a relatively new product for us. This is our version of the original state flag for the state of Maine. This one flew over the State House from 1901 to 1909. And there's been some interest in getting this to be our current state flag, to switching back to it, and which we're hopeful happens. Representative Betty Austin from Skowhegan here has been kind enough to start working on legislation to make that happen. It's, from my understanding, it's people have asked for it to be switched back in the past, and it didn't get approval. But I think the time is right now where things, the simple design is just more in line with kind of the main brand at this time.
We got I'm assuming pine tree, right?
The flag is meant, the pine tree, of course, we're the pine tree state, and then the blue star is supposed to represent the North Star.
Oh, okay.
And it's just a clean and simple design of a flag, and we're really hopeful that it takes off. We're selling quite a number of them. We're in the process of we'd like to. Right now, we have to send these out to be printed, and then they come back to us for finishing. Simply because there's nobody in the state that can do this type of printing that we do. I'm hoping to, within the next couple of months, actually have the equipment here to do this in-house. As I think it would really help with our efforts to get this as the new state flag, is if these can be produced 100% in Maine, with the exception of the fabric.
Is Betty introducing something to the legislature this year?
I believe so.
Yeah?
Yeah, I believe so. So we have taken the design of the flag and we put it on our hats.
Yeah.
So, and then we also make the Original Me t-shirt. And that's the other thing we're hoping to do, is actually make the shirts right here in this building too. So right now we buy the shirts, but we're hoping to make them here. And then of course we inherited this from Dirigo Stitching, and we've been trying to revive it. Is the making of our American flags.
Yep.
We make a really high quality American flag that's got embroidered stars, and we join the stripes one into the other with a an overlapping stitch that holds up really well. And so I've been on a campaign. I started last year to have all the towns in Maine fly my flags.
Oh, nice.
And so I made an offer to every town last year that I offered them at a discount. And I said, it's really my mission to be able to drive down Main Street and know that those are my flags flying there. And it's gone really well. I was amazed at how many I sold. Some towns weren't in the replacement cycle yet, but now they know that they can come to us, and we offer them at a great price that's hard to beat, to buy them direct from the factory, and they get them out
I
there.
think Dirigo was making those before you
They were.
took over, and I think that was one of the last items or last new things that they introduced, and I think they really hit on something, and you guys have continued that.
Yeah, they had a single large customer for them that they were doing other work for, and that's what facilitated them getting into the flag business. And that customer switched suppliers before my time, and it kind of just sat there. And that's why I've been, beating the bushes a little bit to try and get it out there that you can get a great U.S. flag that's made right here in the state of Maine.
What are the sizes of flags that you make?
We make a 2x3, which is common on boats or a motorcycle, if you see one on the back of a motorcycle. The 3x5 is the most common one, and that's the size you see on utility poles.
Okay.
Most people that have a flagpole at their house, too, in the ground, would probably have a 3x5. Then we make a 4x6 that if you have a slightly taller pole, and then a 5x8 if you got a big beefy flagpole, that's 40 feet tall or so.
What are the size of those ones they put on car dealers? I was going to say you could make this super huge one.
Some of them are 60 by 90 feet or so.
Yeah.
And we don't make anything like that. We have to have the star fields embroidered off site. It's a giant machine that does a 12-foot wide roll of fabric all at the same time. And so we have to order the star fields, and we just stock the star fields in those 4 sizes so that, because they're the most common ones, and those big ones that car dealers have get very expensive very quickly. So
Some of those are huge.
I had a Bass Pro Shop manager call me, and they had one of those giant flags, and they asked me to repair it for them. And I said, I know how much they cost, and I said, well, I don't think I can. I'm not set up to do something that big.
Yeah.
So I had to decline. But it was nice that they found me, and they said, well, we can't find anybody to repair this. And,
Yeah.
So.
Just diverting here a little bit. What are your hours of business?
The store is open. The store's open when we're open, which is essentially 9 to 3:30. There are people here earlier in the morning, but maybe like 8. And there's always somebody here by 8 o'clock that can help. So, but Monday through Thursday until 3:30, basically.
Okay. And factory hours in terms of your workers, how
They
shifts do you
some of
have?
my crew, well, just one shift that's split. About half of them come in at 5 in the morning, and the other half come in at 6. And so the ones that come in at 5 work till 2:30, and the ones that come in at 6 stay till 3:30.
3:30. Okay.
And we run 4 days a week. We originally started that schedule, I guess, in the wintertime. If we had a day that we got bad weather and people didn't want to drive in, then we had Friday, we just make it up, a built-in snow day. And then everybody really enjoyed it in the summertime, having 3-day weekends, so we continue it in the summer too.
Oh, very good. Well, anyways, why don't we continue our tour around and
All right.
point out some other products you sell?
So some of these other things, these are some of our small items. This is just a kerchief that some people tie on their dog. It was intended for being tying around your neck, or women tie it around their hair, and it keeps the bugs away out of your ears and whatnot. The headbands do the same thing. My wife swears by the headband working in the garden in the evening when the bugs really come out.
Did I read that they were reversible as well?
They are. So it's this one's pink on one side and the olive on the other. So if you don't want to be seen, you can switch it to the olive, or if you want the high vis, then you got the pink on the other side. When we opened the store, I sent a press release to the local media, and Doug Harlow from the Morning Sentinel came over and did a story, and the very next day, I have a doorbell that I ask customers to ring, and it rings in my office, and I come down. And that first day that after that article came out, I ultimately ended up bringing my computer down here and just staying down here because I was doing so many trips up and down the stairs I couldn't get any other work done. And I said, "Wow, this is great. We're going to get a lot of traffic through here," and it's been steady ever since. So
Excellent.
It works out great.
Well, if we can have the same impact on our show that the Morning Sentinel did, then hopefully that helps a little bit.
Right, terrific.
Yeah, very good, very good. I guess we're going to go into the factory itself so you can see how some of the products are made and some of the people that are making them. So,
And we'll show you some of the other things we make here today because I think we're making a few dog knot products. We're just gearing up for our spring season, but we are making some other products and I can show you what some of the other things we make.
So
here.
what you make varies by season, correct?
It does. So in February, essentially, we'll start building inventory for Dog Not Gone, and we'll build that and hold that, and it will go out the door as it's sold. By midsummer, we're kind of built up, and we just do kind of fill in on just certain products that we need more of. But then during the summer months and for the rest of the year, we're busier in our other side of the operation, which we call Maine Stitching Specialties, where we make draperies for hotels and privacy curtains for hospitals.
Okay, excellent. By the way, the I guess I'll call them the human products here are no-fly zone, or you call them no-tick zone.
The no-fly zone is the brand name that the manufacturer puts on their fabric.
Okay.
So they make no-fly zone fabric in everything from what we buy to kind of the material your shirt would be made out of and whatnot.
Okay.
But that's their brand name is No Fly Zone. And so, and actually our People line is going to be rebranded this year as No Fly Designs to differentiate it from Dog Not Gone, because right now it's a Dog Not Gone hat, but it's not for a dog. So, so we're going to straighten that out this summer and get that for this season. Get that so that you can differentiate between the two.
Actually, I'm seeing you've got some hats that are a reversible hat.
We make a garden hat. We call this a garden hat. It helps keep the sun off you as well, and it keeps the flies off. And it is reversible. It's orange on one side.
Comes a hunting hat.
Yeah, then exactly. Yeah. So those have been real popular, and then my favorite product that I swear by is the baseball cap. I tell people that I'm outside all summer long, and I had to, thinking back, last summer I wore that hat almost exclusively, and I didn't use bug spray once.
Oh, fantastic!
And I live in Kingfield on top of a mountain, and I've got plenty of bugs.
Got plenty of bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those are all adjustable hats, right?
They are. Yeah, they're one size fits all. The garden hat we make in two different sizes because it's not adjustable.
Okay, very good. Well, I think we're going to move on from the store to the factory. So
all right.
To see how things are made. You want to sit, Katie?
So this is our first floor. This is our shipping and receiving and fabric and cutting and then warehouse essentially.
So what are these different fabrics over here?
These are the ends of a job from the last 30 plus years. So this is more of our new stock. So our fabric comes in by truck, and we'll get anywhere from 1 to 10 pallets of fabric at a time, and we store it here and pull from it as it's needed. It moves from here down to cutting. So we're just starting to receive Dog Not Gone fabrics now. So those look like they had quite the ride in the truck.
Where do those come from, by the way?
Our fabrics are actually made in North Carolina. So our product is 100% U.S.
And
made.
I think I've seen that in your literature anyways. Is all of your stuff 100% US?
Virtually. There are some minor components in certain products. A D-ring on a dog collar
Yeah.
we can't get domestically sourced. And sometimes some nylon webbing is imported, but the vast majority of the fabric, the Velcro, we use real Velcro brand Velcro.
Yeah.
And that's domestically made. And so, virtually everything is, 99.9% of the
How technical is the government on the US made standard? I think it was New Balance who got into some issues perhaps on that years ago because there's a small component of what they made that was not US.
I can't remember what the requirements are. There's a percentage, a dollar percentage that has to be met. We're so far over it that we wouldn't have to worry about it. I actually thought it was funny one day, and I was like, wow, I feel like we've made it, because I got a cease and desist letter from the Velcro company saying that you cannot say on your packaging that you're using Velcro unless you're actually using Velcro brand Velcro. And I said, well, I buy it from one of your largest suppliers. I would hope they'd be sending me real Velcro brand Velcro, and I never heard anything else. So I was like, I guess I've gotten big enough that I caught the attention of the Velcro Corporation. But we use it strictly for a quality thing, that the durability of the real original Velcro brand is so much greater than generic hook and loop.
Any Velcro product I've had has worked very, very well. So,
and which is important on a dog product because they run through brush and things like that, and the Velcro can pick up things, and ours actually holds up for that and doesn't fill up and doesn't come apart.
excellent. Well, we want to move on, I guess.
So we don't do a whole lot of carpentry, but we do some specific products for hotels, and that's what we're doing here. We're building what's called a cornice that would go over the top of a window and conceal the hardware that holds up the draperies.
Okay.
So we're making the draperies, and we're also making the cornices as well, and they'll be upholstered with the same fabric that the drapes are made out of. So it's all a uniform system. And this is actually our biggest job to date. This is a 360 room hotel that we're doing.
Oh my.
So
Can we actually go down there and
sure.
see the worker in action?
Absolutely.
Don't throw them too far off kilter here by doing that. But. Morning.
Morning.
So these, we do the carpentry, and then it gets wrapped in fabric to conceal any of the splintering in the wood. Then it's going to get wrapped in a fiberfill, and then it'll be upholstered.
Okay. You can actually watch what's going on here. Precision operation.
You want to explain what it is that you're doing?
Putting the frame of the cornice together. He's covering the face with blackout material.
And what hotel are these going to?
These are going to a giant water park in Wisconsin. So,
Water park.
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, this company's got two projects that we're hoping to do both of them. This one's, like I said, 360 rooms, and the next one could be as many as 1,000 rooms.
Now explain to me, how do you get these contracts?
So we are a third-party manufacturer for a number of companies that have a sales force but no manufacturing.
Okay.
So they acquire the customer and sell them a product, and then I make it for them.
Okay.
So, there's no way I could cover the whole country myself and sell enough. by myself. But with these other companies that we do contract work for, they have people all over the place that sell things. So our single largest customer is in California.
So they sell it and they come to you and say, Bill, this is what we sold. We hope you can do this, right?
Yeah, and I'm usually involved in the process before the sale.
Oh, okay.
So I do all of, cost estimates and yardage requirements and things like that. So they know how to price it to their customer as a finished product.
Okay, that's it.
So what we're doing here is we're just filling in a few sizes that we're short on. So Rick's just doing a small amount where he lays up the fabric in multiple layers and draws it out on paper and cuts it all at once.
I see.
How many plies can you do at once, Rick?
Usually 75, but this is only 50.
50 plies.
Do you hand cut that or?
Yeah, hand cut it with a knife.
With an electric knife.
Yeah. It's not cooperating with me today.
And once all those are cut, they go upstairs.
They go upstairs to be stitched, yep.
Now, before you mentioned about how sometimes one employee will see a whole piece of product all the way through. Or not now.
Sometimes the same set of, especially with the Dog Not Gone products, the same set of people will see it all the way through. But oftentimes, one stitcher will do all of one step, and it'll move to somebody else to do all of the next step.
Yeah.
And then it comes back to one person who does the final inspecting and folding and packaging.
Certain people enjoy doing certain things.
That's right. Everybody has their favorite things to do, and not to say they can't do other things too, but they prefer certain things.
Well, because of the seasonality of the products too, they'll do this for a while and then that product will be done and then they'll move on to a new one.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have some additional folks down here helping out with the hardware components because we're still waiting on fabric for the big project.
Okay.
So we thought, well, if we can get the hardware done, then we can put all hands on deck on the fabric once it arrives.
Okay. Gotcha.
In addition to being a big job, it's on a very tight schedule, and so we have to help match the hotel's renovation schedule. So as soon as they're, our products are kind of the last thing to go into a hotel, but they can't open until they have it. So
when are they planning on opening and receiving?
We're supposed to be sending this to the installers by the end of February.
Okay.
So. And it's so large, it's going to take a while to install. So, I have a feeling they want to be open probably the 1st of April.
Okay. So everyone's going to be busy here for a while.
Going to be busy here for a little while.
Job security, right?
Right. So, and then we have other jobs too. Where the hospital cubicle curtains. We're going to be doing quite a big order of those.
You say right the hospital, is it hospital chain or is it
again, this is we're their third-party manufacturer for other folks that sell it. Okay. So these hospitals that we're doing, I believe, are in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So
now, do you have any local businesses you do work for?
I do. I made most of the cubicle curtains at Reddington Fairview.
Okay, good.
I do some for local nursing homes.
Okay.
We've done draperies and cubicles for some nursing homes in Augusta.
And that's business you picked up just by word of mouth?
Yep. They read the Dirigo stitching tag. I have the same phone number.
Oh, so, okay. That helps.
So the replacement works pretty well. And we do a lot of hotels in Maine. Okay. We did a big one in Portland this summer. And we do them all over. We did the draperies and the cornices at the Oxford Casino Hotel last year.
Okay, sure.
That was a pretty big job for us. And
you've got some pretty good sized businesses and institutions you do work for.
Mm-hmm. And if it's in Maine, we usually install it too. But most of the time, if it's out of Maine, we send it to somebody else to install.
So when you purchased the building and purchased from Dirigo Stitching, did you get their contact list?
I did.
List? Okay.
I did, and that's what I've done is when we picked what products we wanted to make, then I went back to some of the people that Dirigo had done a lot of that work with in the past, and did what we could to see what we can do. And I've had 2 of them turn me into almost their exclusive supplier, where they had multiple work rooms, and 2 of them now have said, we'd like to send it to you, do you mind? And I said, no, I don't mind at all. Send it along.
Well, based on all the work you're doing here, you may need more than 11 employees.
Right,
So,
right.
Yep, excellent, excellent. Now, we're on 1 floor. You got any other floors?
We
you're
do. The
using
second
right
floor is our production floor,
now? Okay.
so we can go up right
Here we
here.
go, folks. Go to another floor. Okay, we're now on the second floor. And what do you do up here, Bill?
This is where primarily draperies and cubicle curtains start at this end, where they're cut one at a time, depending on the fabric, one at a time, and they'll move from station to station on down the line until it's complete.
Okay.
So what would somebody be doing right here?
They would essentially be pulling the fabric off the roll on the table, and it clamps to the end of the table here. So they'd clamp it to the table. I'm not very good at this, but then they can pull it out and measure it and then cut it. So this is a miniature version of our cubicle curtains. This is a salesman's sample.
Yep.
So that salesperson sample, so they can show a customer what we make a kind of a unique snap together system for
I see.
cubicles.
Yep, yep.
So we make the panels all one size, and then they snap together to make them as wide as you want it to be.
Okay.
And then it would snap to the mesh that would go across the top. This one hasn't been snapped yet, but it would snap on like this. And the beauty of our system is the housekeeping department can take these down and send them to the laundry as an additional infection control step. Like Reddington Fairview takes these down between every patient, and they go to central laundering and they put up a new set.
Okay, so by cubicle, I mean, you're talking about, say, in Reddington Fairview, you're in
The curtain that goes around your bed, basically.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm thinking. It goes right around your bed or separates your, I don't know, I guess they don't have so many private rooms anymore, but there used to be a curtain in between.
Exactly, and sometimes they'll have them across the door, so the door can be open, but the patient still has privacy.
Okay.
So they can hear the patient, but people walking down the hall can't necessarily see the patient.
Okay, so perfect for hospitals.
That's right.
What other institutions do use cubicles?
Nursing homes.
Okay.
Long-term care facilities, even everything down to like a physical therapy office has cubicle curtains in between
Okay.
exam areas and whatnot.
Okay.
So,
Excellent.
and it uses this mesh on top to accommodate the sprinkler system, so that water can still get over the curtain instead of having it blocked by a solid piece of fabric.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
So-
Well, let's kind of walk down the line.
All right.
Pretty good sized place.
So each machine can do a different step, and then we would do a whole cart full of that step, and then it would move to the next one.
So this machine here, is this making string or like a shoelace or something?
No, it's it just uses it. Let me see if I can find well, it actually cuts this off the fabric, but just looking for an edge that would have that on it.
Because I saw like what's coming out.
Right, that's what it's trimming off. It has a knife in there that trims off the fabric as it stitches it. But I don't see anything with that on it here. It's handy. Well, when I find something, I'll point it out what that one does.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, these are fascinating old machines.
They're very clever, but even before there were electronics or whatnot, a lot of these machines could do some pretty complicated stitches.
Now, you inherited these from Dirigo as
I
well.
did, yep.
They look pretty vintage.
I think the old ones were built better, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
That one probably weighs twice as much as a new one would.
Oh, I have no doubt. But what would you estimate the age of some of these are?
I bet some of them have to be 50 years old or more.
I would say at least, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have. We've done some products in leather. I talk about kind of unusual products. There's a hotel in downtown Portland in the old Press Herald building.
Yes.
It's called the Press Hotel. It's
Yes.
a really nice hotel.
Yes.
So they sent me some handrails, these old brass handrails that were in the original building, and asked us to polish them and then make zip-on leather wraps so that they wouldn't be cold to touch. And so we did that here in the shop, and I even hand-stitched leather wraps on the door handles. So if you're ever at the Press Hotel and you see they got leather handrails, then they were made here.
Nice.
So these tables are basically to cut everything square and to length. It gets in under here, and then where's the button?
Okay.
And it's clamped down, and then so you can get it square. This one is for a roller shade.
Okay.
And it's really important that it gets attached to the roller perfectly square, or else it goes up
Absolutely, yeah.
uneven.
So it's all curtains on this floor, pretty much.
Curtain on this floor up to here. Curtains and cubicles. Yep. This area is where primarily we do Dog Not Gone products and any of our other smaller products that we make. We make a number of different things. The white things on the table there are we make the cover for a company that makes and sells a product to help with acid reflux. It's a foam wedge that goes between your mattress and your box spring, and it elevates the head of the bed a little bit.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
he's out of Brooklyn, and we make the covers for him. It's essentially a giant zippered pillowcase.
Oh, interesting.
That can be taken off and washed and whatnot.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we make a ton of them for him.
And you've got several of your stitchers over here.
Yep, they're making some dog vests.
Dog vests, yeah. Well, you certainly have the space to accommodate more workers when you need them.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a big facility.
So they're actually making vests that are going to go to LL Bean next month. We're at the tail end of their order here.
Okay.
Looks like Sherry are you finishing that? Is that the last step?
I'm sure you do a good job. If you're pleasing LL Bean, you're probably please just about anybody, I would think.
When you make a product, there's always something, that you're always going to have tiny errors. We have very, very few. That we get very few back for a quality issue.
Yeah, they must have some pretty tight quality control people at LL Bean. So.
They do, and what was interesting is last year we were selected. They audit all of their plants that make products that bear the LL Bean label, and the process is primarily for their overseas factories to make sure they're meeting employee standards and payroll standards and things like that. They have a pretty stringent set of rules that they have to follow, but they didn't make any difference in us. We had to go through the same audit process too, and it's a full day. And I give them a lot of credit that they do as much as they can to make sure their manufacturing is done in a ethical manner.
Yeah. Well, of course, until recently, they had that basically anytime exchange policy. So I could see why they want to make absolutely sure the product worked.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, it looks like Alice up there is at the starting point of a vest. If you want to, you got seen the finish, and now you can see the beginning.
So this is the beginning stages.
This is the beginning.
So we're not going to try to throw you off at all, Alice.
Oh, that's all right. I'm sure I'll be fine.
Yeah. So people can.
She's made a few of these.
Yeah.
Just a couple.
So Alice and Sherry both have been making our products since the beginning.
Oh my goodness.
So they had their hands on the very first one.
When did you open up?
I have to think back of what year that was. I believe it was 2006.
Yep.
So I think 2006 was the last year that my wife and I made these in our house. And then we would have come here to Dirigo Stitching in 2007.
2007.
Our first commercial client ordered 200 of them and sent us a check for half of the order in advance.
Oh, nice.
And we said, well, we'll figure it out. And we laughed. My wife and I had just bought our first house, basically broke, and like, well, we'll just do this ourselves and make as much money as we can. And I don't sew, but my wife does, and so she would sew the parts together, and a lot of the pieces are made inside out and then have to be turned right side out for final assembly.
Okay.
So that was my job. For an entire winter, I sat in my chair watching football on Sunday afternoons with a wooden dowel turning these pieces right side out. And after we got that first 200 done, I said, well, we can't do that again. We can't make more than 200
Appears to me you've
ourselves.
come quite a long ways in the last decade or so.
Yeah.
I would say she appears to know what she's doing.
I would say. I just like watching
I
it.
kind of think I do.
I like watching Alice fold them. 'Cause I'm a terrible folder and I can't do it, and she can fold them so that they're exactly the same every time.
Wow. Now, is there anything going on at the third floor at this point, Bill? Or
Storage, and then we rent what used to be an office space to a local dance studio.
oh, really?
And they come in evenings, and when we're not here, because it's a clogging studio.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want to be here.
My
when you're
office
doing
is
that.
right underneath, so I can't work there. But they come in after we leave. So, yeah, I mean the whole place has got hardwood floors, and
Feels like a pretty solid building too.
yeah, it's not in bad shape. It was built right when they built it.
Yeah.
It's not without maintenance, that's for sure. But
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. But yeah, it looks as though you're doing quite a job here. You got some nice, hard-working employees.
we do. That's our biggest asset of being in Skowhegan.
I love it.
Well, there you go. There's the testament.
Our original plan was to buy enough equipment to handle Dog Not Gone and move it. But we wouldn't be able to bring the staff with us. It would be too far away for them to come to work. And that's why we reconsidered and then decided to take the drapery line as well and the whole building. So,
Well, I'm sure Skowhegan appreciates very much your desire to come here and keep this factory open.
Yes.
Did you work at the previous employer?
Yes, I've been
There we
here
go.
24 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sherry's been here 35 to 30 years.
I think we have everyone here with the exception of one or two, the two guys that were doing the carpentry work downstairs are the only ones that were not Dirigo employees.
You mentioned before about one of your mechanics. That was kind of an interesting.
Oh yeah, Gene?
Yeah.
Gene he was downstairs. He He worked here full-time for a while. He used to work for Creative Apparel before they closed. He worked for Dexter Shoe before that. And then he was approaching retirement age, so he said, well, why don't you hire an apprentice, and I'll work with him for my last 6 months to help him learn the ropes, and then I'll be available whenever you need me to come over and help. And so that's worked out really well. So we hired an apprentice for him, and he works with him. And Gene comes in 1 day a week or so, or whenever we need him. It's hard to learn how to repair a sewing machine until it's broken. So as an apprentice, until you've seen the different things that can break, you're kind of stuck. So if Zach gets to a point where he sees something that he's not able to fix, he gives Gene a call and he comes over, and so far it's worked out really well.
Very, very good.
Were those the two guys downstairs?
Downstairs, they were doing the carpentry work today. Yep.
Okay.
So fortunately, knock on wood, the machines aren't broken that often. I mean, they're broken often enough, or something goes on, but when it breaks, it's out, until it's repaired. A lot of machines we have multiples of. We could jump to another machine, but when we're really on a tight deadline, you need everything you've got.
Sounds as though you're on a fairly tight deadline right now.
We are.
Yeah.
We are, and then we do have some machines, like the ones around the corner, that we only have one of.
Okay.
And
that goes down, then you have an issue.
we have an issue.
Have an issue.
What's that?
Those machines apply snaps on the cubicle curtains that we make, and for whatever reason, they're really finicky. They won't work if it's too hot and humid, and they won't work if it's too cold.
Okay.
They have to be just right. They're Goldilocks machines.
Sounds like me.
But we struggled with it this summer, and we couldn't get it to run. I mean, there was physically nothing wrong with the machine, and I said, well, let's just wait for this heat wave to break and see what happens. And sure enough, when the next week when it wasn't so hot, it ran fine.
Well, it must be, this is a big old plant. It must be hard to heat it exactly right, or to cool it down. So what do you do in the summer? You must have a bunch of fans.
A bunch of fans. It's not too bad most of the time. We had that heat wave last summer that was
Right.
pretty hot.
Alice remembers that.
That's one of the reasons why they like to start early in the morning before it gets too hot. But
One of the 5 a.m. people.
Oh, yeah, I'd be here at 4 if it was up. Here at 4 and out at 1:30.
We've pretty much gone an hour here, Bill.
all right.
And this has been absolutely wonderful, giving us a tour. I mean, most of our stuff is done in studio up in Madison, but we just figured here, it wouldn't have done your business justice to try to just do it in studio.
Right. Why not?
People get an absolute, chance to look around and see how things are done here.
That's great. I'm glad you could come by. It's my pleasure to show you around.
Oh, this was absolutely fantastic. So, I'd like to thank everybody today. The show will be on, you'll see it real soon. We're filming it actually on a Wednesday, and I think it'll be on the following Friday.
Terrific.
So that'll be great. And Bill, thank you very much for your time, and all your employees.
My pleasure.
And now you know.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, this is wonderful.